Hello, it is Thursday, and we are talking Bad Blood again. With us tonight, we have Nesbit to my left, your right. How's it going?
How you doing?
All right. And below me, we got Headkill, the CEO of the Tribal Militia. How's it going?
Doing all right.
All right. And, he's walking.
What? But excuse me. How dare you, sir?
All right, we got one more joiner, then we'll get to business. And there's the boss. How you doing, Moondog?
Very good. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. All right. So before we get into the housekeeping, tonight's episode, I think it's be more of a discussion, which is going to be a lot of fun. Talking about Bad Blood's place in today's MilSim style airsoft. I'll be the first to admit I don't have a lot of experience. I've got my own versions of experience in MilSim. So this question is really for everybody else. So
Yeah, and I haven't attended last event. It's been like over 10 years since I went to like a John Liu event. So I don't know what the current state of MilSim is.
it's very different, very different. So, but before we get to that, we do have a little bit of cleaning up or housekeeping to deal with when it comes to Bad Blood. We have decided this afternoon that we'll be merging the black shirts and the task force militia into the black and tans. It was a success last year. People liked it. So I think it's going to work. Because of that, this affects you more, Moondog. I have revised the map slightly, move everybody around a little bit. So now we're going to have Deus Ex starting down by Timmy's house at the south gate.
Okay, that's good.
We're going to have Green's Army at the camp gate over at A3.
Mm-hmm.
And then diagonal from them up north, we're going to have Black and Tans up at the far north end.
At the trail end. Yeah.
Trailhead. So that way, we're not going to have a whole lot of bottleneck. People are going to make some real good ground at the very beginning of the game. And they're going to start engaging those tribals sooner than normal instead of engaging each other. And I think it's going to speed up the game a little bit because as people start to take objectives and gain territory, I think they could be a little more motivated to really push that much harder. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know. That's just my idea. That's my hope.
That's good. You hear that, Nick?
Oh yeah, we'll be out there. And if anybody's really interested in joining tribals this year, that was kind of on the fence, feel free to reach out. If you've been, a veteran of Bad Blood, or I've been a veteran of, some of our airsoft games for, years now. Feel free to reach out if you feel like playing some NPC type, teams.
Awesome. Yeah, that'd be great. So that's the housekeeping. I'm very excited for all of that. And so, like I said, we're going to talk about MilSim, how Bad Blood fits into MilSim, how it doesn't fit into MilSim. And really, for those of you who do play those style of games, have you ever seen any of the mechanisms of Bad Blood introduced into other events? So who's got more experience in modern MilSim than me or Moondog? Because I know it's not me.
So I haven't played a MilSim West style game in quite some years. However, I have ventured out into some of, I guess you would call them MilSim Lite style events, where I have seen some of the things that you have used, like moving the spawn points after a certain time period. After capturing objective, you can stage it as a capture point. I've experienced that before, 3 years ago.
Let's not pigeonhole ourselves into thinking that MilSim West, while it is what it is the only MilSim.
Oh, right? No, absolutely not.
They're the
hardcore MilSim.
Yeah, they're the hardcore, and more power to them for it. But that doesn't mean they're the only, they're only boat in the harbor. We've got Third Coast Airsoft is doing stuff. We've got Lion Claws is still out there doing stuff. American MilSim is doing stuff. So it's really all there's a style for everybody out there.
Oh yeah.
So let's not kid ourselves thinking that MSW is the only way. if you want to get some real experience, you know?
Yeah. Well, so one of the fun things I did way back in the day, back in the early days, was the Americas. America is, the whole idea of Germany won the war and it's like the overthrow. I would consider that milsim to an extent, but it would be more of a militant versus militia milsim design, if you will.
Mhm.
Played very well, and I mean, for 8 years running, it was like the go-to of the South.
All right. What about you, Nick? Do you do milsim stuff?
I do mostly real still now, and there are some things that kind of bleed through. I wear a lot of my, competition gear, especially when I'm out there too, because just the layout of the pouches and everything, the mag holders, holsters, etc. That kind of translates into real life, or at least real life in terms of competition.
Sure.
So yeah, that's part of it. I've done some lion claws, but it has been several years. Actually, the last one was at the Scranton Lace Factory.
Mhm.
I'll be out there again tomorrow, that area. Have some work out there. But yeah, they actually tore down that old facility and then built it up into a new, like up and coming shopping and dining and living area.
Of course
But
they
yeah,
did.
yeah. But that it was different back then. Like MilSim, that was really the definition of hardcore back 10 plus years ago. You would have riflemen, which were semi only. You would have a couple submachine gunners that are dedicated for submachine guns. You have, guys that are doing the squad weapons. This we don't really do as much of. Bad Blood, you just basically run whatever you want.
Right.
So it's more of, I find this more of a fun game and just get out and have a blast and blast your friends, blast your enemies, and do it for a good cause.
Absolutely. What about you, Rush? Do you have any experience with milsim out there?
I have no Milsim experience, but I do know that playing Bad Blood versus skirmishes, you really want to be on the move for Bad Blood. You want to be on the move. Snipers, I think, are kind of at a disadvantage in this game because you're always trying to conquer the next objective, find the next cooler, take the next spawn point. So I think, that's kind of a hindrance for snipers in this role,
Mm-hmm.
especially guys with ghillie suits. Not really recommended in my opinion, but yeah, no Milsim experience yet, but this is definitely you want to be on the move game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You're 100% right about that. What do you guys feel? What makes milsim milsim? Is it tactics? Is it team formation? Is it just the vibe? As much as I hate that word, what do you think?
Structure and order.
Okay.
Yeah, and limitations.
Yeah. I don't even think so much limitations. I think structure and order is the biggest part that makes milsim milsim. You have one guy saying, this is what we're going to do. You have people under him that are like, okay, we're going to make it happen. And you have everybody else that are just like, let's do it. And you just go for it.
All right.
So I think that's what makes it's the brotherhood.
When I designed my my Vietnam milsim events, because to me they are military simulations. We're out there for 48, 72 straight hours kind of thing. No scheduled break kind of stuff. We don't leave the field, things like that. I write my games in more of a mission format. Like the whole game is actually written out and it's not on a timetable or anything like that, but all of the missions that are going to happen in that event are already written out, right? So to me, I see it as if I've got a mission schedule as opposed to that you find out kind of how you're going to proceed during the event, as opposed to something like Bad Blood where you know your objectives before you even walk on the field. That's kind of one of the big differences I see, at least. I don't know. Like you said, that's just the way I see it. More of a objectives versus learning your role while you're doing your role kind of thing. You never know what the next thing you're going to have to do because it hasn't been relayed to you yet. Like you said, that structure, it hasn't come down to the lowly rifleman yet. You know what I mean? Where Bad Blood, every single person out there knows what they're supposed to do. It's just a matter of can they actually get, the organization to do it.
Yeah.
And I see it a little bit different from the tribal side because we're just there to cause chaos. And the only real orders that we have are protect the samples, put it in a good area, make sure it's not easily found, and defend it.
That's
And
fair.
then so it's a little different in that aspect. But from my experience, yeah, I've done the kind of immersive milsim, where like you said, like a Vietnam reenactment type of thing,
Right.
and I played the opposition. I played Vietnamese side, and that's you're living, got little tents, you got you're cooking rice
Yeah,
over a
yeah.
fire. That,
Yeah.
that's immersion in one way. Some of the other events that I've done have immersion in other ways, where yeah, you've got technicals, you got vehicle mounted weapons coming in, you've got smoke, you've got supply drops and stuff like that too. So there's a lot of that out there, and that takes a lot of coordination. That's something that that's not something we're really doing here. We do have some simulated stuff in some scenarios, potentially. I don't know what's happening this year, but that's where I guess it differs a little bit. Where we're just more run and gun, have a little fun, but still have some structure. It's not just some skirmish in a warehouse.
Totsky's out here talking about ghillie suits. Yeah, I mean a good ghillie suit, and if the guy behind the rifle is still enough, yeah, you're just gonna step on him. That's absolutely true. So
It's impressive when it happens. I give them the utmost credit to hide that well. That definitely
Yeah.
takes some dedication to get that sneak in.
yeah, but I mean I say it every year, and Rush definitely pointed out the best parts of why to not run a ghillie suit. It's a movement. It's a game of movement. There's you're other than the tribals out there, you're not defending ground. That's one of the big differences in Bad Blood versus say MilSim, where you're out there defending territory. You're especially in the new MilSim where they're using these exotic AOs with the dilapidated buildings and stuff. Like we're not holding buildings. We're not holding
Right.
territory.
We're not holding the castle.
Yeah, you're not holding the castle. If you're in the castle and you see head kill and you see a red cooler,
That's my lunch.
lunch.
Yeah.
Don't open Nick's lunch.
He liked his sandwich.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
You're not. I'm talking to Black and Tans, to Deus Ex, to Green's Army. You're not holding the castle. Unless there is a sample in there, which there could be. I don't know what Headkill plans to do. You're not defending it. That's not your job. You took it. You got your objective. Move on. The game is not about holding the castle. Well, everybody wants to. Don't get me wrong. That's fun. A 2-story castle with ramparts, that's awesome. It just is.
Castle's my house.
Yeah, right.
Get out of my
Yeah.
house.
Get out. I mean, I've been known in past events where I'll kind of time people. If I see, black shirts has always been the big culprits. If I see black shirts have been in the castle for like half an hour, I'm just going to evict you. Like, get out. Oh, well, we can't leave. Okay, well, respawn. Just leave. You're not doing anything here. All you're doing is wasting time.
I've never been in the castle, and I've had a blast every day.
Like, Moondog designed this game as a timed scavenger hunt. That's the point.
Yeah.
So
we made the fatal mistake of moving into the castle last year. I mean,
and I wasn't there to kick you out.
We moved through the castle. We didn't hang out in the castle, and it had its advantage because I was able to find that location through it. But once you got pushed back into it, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No
So
doubt.
that's just that. Yeah.
It's a bottleneck within itself because it's for something that's got 4 openings. Trying to remember 4 openings and
And the tribals own the second floor.
and 2 external ladder stairwells.
Mhm.
It's really hard to get out of. Like
Mhm.
once you're in, and if you're pinned, you're stuck. It sucks.
Yep.
So
Yeah, that's
Tribal
how
are
it
in
went
there
last year.
causing havoc. Yeah, we're causing havoc. We're making teammates shoot at teammates. We're suckering, luring teams in, saying, "Hey, we got something over here," and then having one team engage another, just causing all sorts of chaos. That's what we do.
And that's your job. That's what makes
Yeah.
it great. You know what I mean? But like, if you're just in there by yourself as a team, and you're just you've got the walls just surrounded, and nobody can get within 100 feet of you, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? All you're doing is making everybody angry. Why are you doing that? So, but that's just me. I don't know. I hate it when people kind of just camp in there, because it's not a spawn. 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be a sample location. So, yeah, there's plenty of other interesting parts of the field that I think are worth exploring. Not just centering yourself around the castle and tipman talent all day long. But again, just me.
Out of all the years that I've done Bad Blood at this field, I don't think we've had the sample in there once. We've had one or two close, but never inside the castle.
Yeah, I think not since
You
like
had
the first year. And that was like the last time I ever allowed the sample in the castle.
you had one really close last year.
Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, Moondog's right. We only did it the first year at EMR because we wanted to see how it would play out. And we realized not well.
Yeah.
No.
So, but yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of cool stuff out there. Like I know the online map here isn't the greatest, but like Skull Tower is awesome. The graveyard area, F7 area, there's really cool stuff out there. Be careful of the hills. It's a little hilly out there, but there's really neat stuff. Don't just resign yourself to the same old thing over and over again. Really explore the field. There's a reason that I can put in anywhere between 15 and 20 miles of walking in a Bad Blood because I want to see the whole field. I want to see what everybody's out there doing, what works, what doesn't work. But
I know in 2023, the Green Army attacked Skull Tower from every side at one point during the weekend. we just kind of rotated around it and always found our way back because somebody was in there shooting at us. It was great.
Was it worth it? Did you feel that you guys ate up too much clock by doing that?
At one point, yeah, because I think we could have went farther towards the ravine and then cut back towards the back of the park, but we tried to go full frontal assault and it kind of slowed us down. But it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. We weren't trying to take it. We just wanted to get through, but there were people there.
Probably tribals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yes, I do believe it was.
to get back a little bit back on topic, and I'm thinking more about time, right? The few MilSim events, I'm going to call modern MilSim because my MilSim is not modern by any stretch of the imagination. I'm finding that some of the modern MilSim events, they do things kind of in phases these days, where like you've got blocks of time for these specific evolutions of the event. So, and Bad Blood obviously being similar, being a timed event. What would you guys? This is more for Rush and Nesbit. What's your plan of attack when you realize you're running low on time and you still have objectives to meet?
All gas, no brakes.
Exactly.
It's that simple. It's that simple. We
Pedal
move
to the
fast.
metal.
Yep. You move fast throughout the day. When it's time to crunch the time, you find the extra energy and you push it the extra mile. That simple.
You wouldn't go. I think that's great, and I'm not going to say you're right or you're wrong. Would you consider going maybe slower in the beginning to kind of conserve energy? Maybe take some pot shots at the tribals, see really where their weaknesses are, and then plan an attack? Or do you really want to just rush in blazing like there's no tomorrow at 10:30 in the morning?
Well, so it's not so much about being high speed all day. It's about knowing yourself and what you're physically capable of and adjusting yourself throughout the day. So I wouldn't say it's a matter of being slower in the morning to be faster towards the end. It's a matter of knowing that if I exert all of my energy now, I'm screwed when the time clock starts counting down.
You have to find that pace.
Okay. That's good.
Yep.
Because in the last hour, in my opinion, I want to find a CO. I want to find an opposing CO because their team is going to be dragging at butt. And, if we can do assault and just know where they're at and then attack it from two sides, boom, you knock them down, get a stamp. That's an extra stamp that nobody else has, hopefully.
Look, I'm going no guts, no glory this year. I'm looking for a CO out of the box. I want them at their freshest. I want them ready to fight. That way, when it inevitably happens, I feel really accomplished.
Yeah, I like that.
With the kind of the way people attack, lack of a better term, bad blood, just slinging plastic in every direction known to man and hoping you hit somebody, right? Casualties are taken very quickly. There's not a whole lot of defending yourself because you're gonna rest and respawn. Do you feel that 10-minute break is a benefit or a hindrance to the movement of a particular squad?
I think it should be a benefit.
Okay.
Because you've got up to 10 minutes to organize and figure out your plan of attack for what didn't work, what you just tried. You know where you just came from. You have a good idea of probably where you got shot from and where your guys are. So now you guys can coordinate at the respawn point and say, okay, we know our boys are here. Why don't we do a flank to the right? Or why don't we just rush, just straight up, go guns ablaze?
So
my opinion.
No, that's good. So it's kind of like a combination of what I explained for Vietnam and Bad Blood being, your objectives before you walk on the field. Your plan of attack is going to change based on the information you've gathered, as opposed to just having commands sent down from, some unseen CO all day long.
Right.
Right?
Brad.
Yeah.
I think Brad's usually unseen. AWOL. I didn't say that out loud.
So for me, as far as the 10-minute breaks, I think early on they're great because then you can, like Rush said, develop that tactic for that specific location. I think as the day goes on, those 10-minute breaks become a detriment. If you think about it, you're rushing, you already have been knocked down so many times, you've already adjusted your game plan. It should be fine-tuned to the point where it's a matter of just getting on target faster. Those 10-minute breaks when you're tired only make you more tired when you launch off. Yeah.
How do you think the assigned leadership, and I'm talking more the COs that we have handpicked for this event, and then the command staff that they've chosen for themselves, how do you think that their attack plans kind of work and don't work for a team? Because, let's be honest, everybody's read the player packet, right? Except for the 95% of you who haven't. Don't know all the rules, and let's be honest, a lot of them don't care. They're out there just
They just wanna shoot things.
it's true. They don't care. They're okay. I know what I'm doing. I'm going here. I'm shooting these guys who don't look like me. Okay, fine. That's your game plan. Go for it. But if your command actually has some kind of semblance of an attack, how hard or easy do you think it is for them to kind of get everybody on board who may or may not even have a clue what it is they're doing?
It's like herding kittens. It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, command structure breaks down because people all think that they are John Rambo, and that they know best. I mean, we literally had a guy take the noodle and take half of Green Faction. The year we won, Green Faction was split into two different factions because one guy decided that he knew best, and he just kind of let a group off, and they followed him because he had the noodle. So I like the new respawns. I do. I really do.
Okay.
I think it's definitely an improvement.
As far as Deus Ex is concerned, I have the absolute utmost confidence in our CO that we are all going to stick to our game plan, that everybody is going to 100% be on board on Deus Ex. Let's not forget, we haven't won in a while, so we're coming for vengeance this year.
There's two big problems. This is all in jest. There's two big problems with Deus Ex. One, you don't have an actual Knights Templar out there. Get on it, people. It's not hard.
it's funny you say that.
It's not hard. It's not. Get somebody out there in the white robe. It's not hard. And
That's right,
two,
Doc.
and the second thing is everybody knows that once multicam gets wet, it's no longer invisible. So everyone can see you
Yeah,
guys.
practically any uniform becomes black shirts in the rain.
But multicam, you blend so well with the Earth's crust, nobody knows you're there. But then as soon as you sweat, forget it's over. We see you. You're glowing now. So
It just means we got to get good. That's it.
well, I'm just waiting for that day to finally come.
I'm hoping this year's the year. In fact, I know Doc is going to lead us to that this year. That's all it is.
Okay. All right. I mean, I'm supposed to be unbiased, but I started my career with this event as an embed for the Marxist Task Force, and I will go down in flames as a proponent of the Marxist Task Force cause, and I'm fine with that. Now they're gonna become the black shirts, and I've got a whole cool new backstory for them, and those who want to get into it, cool, bully on you. I got your flag, so we're good to go. But yeah, it's the brown wave just works. That's just me.
The brown wave sounds wrong.
That's what happens in the Porta Johns.
Yeah, it doesn't sound pleasant. That's for sure.
Well, it's not. That's why they rarely have won. Because it's horrible. My very first event as a Marxist embed, 2013, under Mr. Spank and a couple of our buddies, we had the mindset and the mantra of if you don't move forward, we will shoot you ourselves.
Oh, Russia. Got you.
Yeah.
I mean, we were the entire command structure was decked out in Afghan war sand uniforms.
Yeah, how's that for MilSim? That's
Todd up until last year still wore the Afghankas. I've gotten him to go a little lighter this year, right, Todd? Yeah, and we did that. Our machine gunner just started lighting people up from the back who just didn't want to push because we had a bunch of kids who heard the racket of AEGs, so they hid behind the logs. It's like, you'll be back in 10 minutes. Push, just push. So we started shooting them, and it worked. We lost, but it worked. Marxists don't win; they just push. But yeah, where was I going with this? All right, so we've moved. We've gone away with the idea of the mobile respawn, which we've worked on for decades. To now the capturable CCPs. How do you feel the idea of respawns being, what's the word I'm looking for here? Transient. How do you think that works in Bad Blood? And then how do you think that would work in one of these more hardcore MilSim events where you're not going back to a CP a base all the time, or even respawning in the field under like a medevac or something like that?
I think it's going to play both ends of the spectrum, really. I think early on, or like not so much early on, but midday is going to push us because we're not having a fall back so far. It's going to keep the fight forward. But I think as we progress, being those right back into it are going to start taking its toll on people, not to mention as it moves, making sure the communication is on point so everybody knows where that CCP is going to be the utmost importance.
Yeah, honestly, that 10 minutes or up to 10 minutes is often a godsend for me, so I can just catch my breath and throw some water down my face.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like a fob, having just a stagnant base of operations, and when your team is no longer manageable, you got to just basically all just return to base and kind of start over, as opposed to restarting every 10 minutes in the field. Have you seen, I guess, Nesbitt, you have the most experience, most recent experience with modern MilSim. Does anybody do that, or is it all just back to the fob
It's
after your bleed outs and your tourniquets and whatnot?
so a lot of people are starting to do a little bit of what you're doing with movable fobs. Everybody, for the most part, has a main base, which is always an option to fall back from. And then they have a movable position within a certain degree. And I think that it plays a strength by having both options. But I think for Bad Blood specifically, having just that CCP move is so much cooler. Just it evolves the game every single time we move that base around. And I think that's so important for just the playability of Bad Blood.
I'm gonna break
I like that.
Moondog's mind before he. Do you have to go, Moondog?
Yeah, it's getting it's that time.
All right, let
We
me blow your mind real fast because I know how much you don't like this because I don't like it either. And we get this every single year.
Yeah.
Does Bad Blood need medics?
Not the way that we've structured it.
No, exactly. But
Yeah.
I get the comments every year. Oh, have you thought about putting medics in? It'll keep the game moving. Your respawn's 50 feet that way. Like, what do you need a medic for? So do you think that's a hindrance to Bad Blood, or do you think that's what sets it aside from other games? Don't everybody talk at once.
Well, if you had 2 assigned medics, like you do have assigned stamp collectors, I never really gave that much thought, honestly.
I don't like it. Moondog doesn't like it, but so.
You know, I've I mean, we're open always. I'm not gonna put a kibosh on it for as an absolute, but in the past when I've tried it out, it just caused the game to stagnate more than move more. So that's the reason I've always been against it.
I agree.
Okay. That's fair.
And with such large teams and so much movement around, like it's not hard to find a respawn. And if you really can't, an embed or staff member will point you where to go.
Absolutely.
Even as tribal, I've watched people coming off, coming from the staging area, whatever. Oh, where's my team? I'm like, go that way.
See,
I had to do it.
That's where radios come in super handy.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
If you can get somebody to respond, a lot of times people are like, hey, where's green at? And then you wait and you wait and you wait and nobody tells you. So you just go find somebody and say, hey, where's green at?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's what I
see it.
Generally.
I see it.
All right, Moondog, you got to go?
Yep. Before I
right.
jump off, just want to let everybody know that for anybody who's tuning in, I'm going to give away 5 of these tactical scoops, and I'm going to post up the link right
Put
now.
it in the private chat. I'll did you link your channels as well?
I didn't get a chance to.
All right, so put it in the private chat, and then I'll push it out. We can do the first 5 again.
Yeah.
All right, awesome.
I'm gonna put it. Where is the private chat link?
Bottom left.
Oh, thank you. There we go.
All right, I'll put that in the private. I'll put that in the chat, and I will also put it on the screen. Moondog, as always, thank you so much for joining us and giving us your 2 cents on your game.
No worries. Yep, got to head over to choir practice. Everybody go to church on Sunday, unless you're Jewish, then go to Saturday.
There you go.
All right, everybody.
All right, have a great night.
You could be like me and get to go to both.
Hey, there you go.
Double dipping.
Yeah. No, my wife's Jewish and I'm Christian, so we get to do all of it at once. It's fantastic.
Oh,
Holidays
nice.
are amazing.
I keep you busy.
My wife is a pagan and I'm an Orthodox Hindu. So see how that works.
And that's fantastic.
Definitely different.
What a combination.
It works. All right. So first 5 people who fill out this form for Moondog will get that scoop koozie coaster thing. It's very cool. It's nice bright green. Everybody loves green.
Heck yeah, it's my favorite color.
Yeah. So first 5 people fill that out. I'll leave it up on the screen for a couple times for a little while. So No medics. Medics aren't right for this game. They're every game is different, right? You know, and
No,
medics
yeah.
are definitely useful for what they are. But head kills right. The too many players. There's no way, because if we were to do medics, right? Let's go back in time to what Buck likes to call old bad blood. We had the 200 player teams, single CO, 2 embeds, and a single stamp collector, right? That's a lot of work for a few people, right? We moved to EMR and we came up, hey, let's add stamp collectors. You can have up to, I think, 10, I believe at one time we went with, Nick.
Something like that.
Well, yeah. So we had
Yeah, I can't
10
remember.
stamp collectors, more chance to get stamps. Maybe you missed, whatever kind of thing. If we want to include medics in a game like this, we're going to have to assign like 10 or 15 medics. And not only is that too much to handle, too many people to police, it takes too many people out of the game, because now their entire job is to medic people, because
Hmm.
casualties are coming so fast.
And
Why?
they'll be worn out after like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're either going to stop doing their job and let everybody bleed out, and they're just going to have to respawn at triage anyway, or they're going to get so fed up they're not going to come back. And I don't want that. I want everybody to play every year, So,
Yep.
No medics. We don't need medics. For other games that we have or that you go to and I'm working on, medics are great, but not for this. We don't need it. So, yeah. So I asked about the idea of the moving spawn points. You've seen any other aspects of Bad Blood and really kind of Moondog's vision of NYC Airsoft games in general have crept into other MilSim, like embeds, for example? I don't Moondog didn't invent the idea of embeds, but I didn't really see it in other games until maybe the last 6-7 years is when I started seeing other people kind of take on the embed idea of, you've got these playing fighting referees. Have you seen anything like that in the bigger games?
I have. I've seen the use of embeds a lot. I mean, hell, I use them at events at my field. I use embeds. I think the idea of having somebody that's in the fight and able to assist the on-field refs as much as possible is only going to benefit the flow of the game, because I can't see everything when I'm reffing. Having that guy that's in the fight be able to, when he's on rifle and seeing it happen, he can just be like, all right, hold on a second, let me go take care of this. It just makes sense.
Did you steal the idea from us, or
100%.
Or did you?
Mhm.
And that's fine. I've no
If he's
problem.
nothing, he's on.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
wondering-
100%.
Good thing.
It's really more of a question: who stole it, and who
I stole
kind
it.
of saw the need for it and kind of developed it in parallel with what Moondog was doing.
I definitely stole it from you guys. I'll be 100% honest. I saw the benefit the last year with having those embeds engage, and I thought, wow, that's a really cool idea. That's a lot less work for my eyeballs throughout the day.
Yeah.
And it's just worked.
Yeah. And
Not to mention, it gives my guys who normally ref the games a chance to enjoy them.
I think that's also probably part of, I can't speak for him because now he's gone, but I think it's part of the reason of why he even came up with the idea, was a lot of the fields we were using didn't really have field staff. We were the field staff. And that kind of kept prices down for everybody, because now paintball fields we were tenanting at didn't necessarily have to pay staff referees. We were doing it ourselves. It was kind of just a cash day for them. They didn't have to worry about it. We were doing all the work. Now with EMR, he's got some field staff out there, but the problem with that is they don't know the game like we do. They might not know some of the little nuanced rules we have. They might try and kind of police the game based on, I guess I'll call it, standard airsoft, that we might have said, no, that doesn't exist in this world. Or, you know what I mean? So like the idea of us going to a paintball field or an airsoft field or somebody's land rooster, somebody's land in the woods that we have access to, there's no staff. We are the staff. That's why we have so many staff positions. So the embeds are there basically as that field staff for the, paid for by the field, but they also get to kind of play. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Absolutely.
Are you shushing us, Buck? Or are you thinking?
Oh, I'm just keeping my finger here.
Okay. So have you caught up? Have you been listening at all or no? You've been busy?
I was on a call. Sorry.
Okay.
Just
So
got here.
we're talking,
No
talking basically airsoft or Bad Blood's role in modern MilSim. Not many of us have a whole lot of modern MilSim experience. You probably do.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. I hop around from event to event, but Bad Blood is its own demon. It's not MilSim.
Oh no, I'm not saying it is, but how do you feel it exists in that spectrum?
As its own niche, I see Bad Blood as kind of like the arcade mode of Airsoft. Like, you get to really go out, you get to go have a day where you get to sling as many BBs as you want with with very little restrictions. You guys are we are very generous with the amount of things that you guys are allowed to do. As much as there are like other things that are like coming about and whatnot, there are a lot of fields that have to maintain certain things for like certain levels of insurance, and we are able to kind of bend the rules a little bit to get you guys the most experience, the most bang for your buck, really, because you guys are getting an entire weekend of play for a quarter of the cost of a good MilSim event. So you get to do all of the dumb shit that you get to do at all of those MilSims without most of the drawback.
The value is definitely there.
The value is where you get your money for this game. This game is all about having fun. This is about having the best experience, the best time. It's not about having the most tactical moment. It's not about, being the most operator. It's not about it. It's a spray and pray. It absolutely is.
Yes,
I don't
with
know
heat
about you,
stroke.
but I'm Deus
Let's
Ex.
hope we don't
It's
have
all
heat
about
stroke.
being a Chad.
Well, that's what Deus Ex is like. That's their whole thing. That was their whole purpose of becoming a faction. You guys wanted to be the tacticals. You guys wanted to be cooler than black shirts, and you guys succeeded. And now you guys have a good chunk of like the old black shirts crew, and now you guys have all of the tactical people.
Well,
Because now everybody wants to run multi-game.
hold on. You were on a call. You missed the announcement. There is no black shirts.
Oh, I know, not anymore, not anymore. It's black and tans. I actually just talked to my buddy about that this afternoon because he was reaching out because a whole bunch of his buddies apparently just ditched him for the event, and he was like, "Hey, can I switch and go to tribal?" I was like, "Haha, no."
No. Well, it depends.
No,
Are
but
they
you can
best-
come to
You
Deus
can't-
Ex.
Hold on.
You got to buy your own ticket. You can't just swap
Oh
wristbands.
yeah. Right.
Yeah.
We can't do. We had that issue before, and that's where it was a problem, and that's where I had to tell him, I'm like, listen, as much as I'd love to have you, we can't do that anymore. If you want to go to another team, you got to buy the ticket, and you got to eat that cost. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
As much as I would love to have you guys come over with us and come play with tribal, we can't just unbalance the teams like that. It's a roster for a reason, guys.
Yeah. And now, and that's a good point. Nothing changes as far as your tickets go, just because we've merged Marxists and the black shirts into the black and tans. If you still haven't purchased a ticket and you want to fight for one of those factions, go ahead and buy that ticket. That's not a problem. You're just going to be fighting under one really cool banner. Okay. This is a cool flag, people. Look at that. That is,
It
That
looks
is
like the
awesome.
British flag. It looks like the British flag with the colorblind mode on.
But yeah, it actually does.
I think
The Union Jack.
doing my research, creating the backstory for the black and tans, I'm basing them very slightly off of a British unit that is stationed in Nairobi, Kenya. And I believe this is a battle flag they use for African exercises because they're training force. The real British African Army is a training force. So that's what I believe. But it's cool.
It's pretty dope.
Thank you.
Looks like you got the name from a Pennsylvania brewery. Yingling Brewery is in Pennsylvania. They make a black and tan.
It's actually pretty solid too. It's one of like when I'm not drinking Sam Adams.
I actually got it from the old Irish Rebel song, so it's really more of an IRA thing. But that's okay.
We'll take it.
You go. Still there?
Yep, I'm still here. Hang tight.
Okay. So another thing we were talking about was what mechanics do you think or feel that modern MilSims have borrowed, stolen, co-opted from NYC Airsoft and Bad Blood and incorporated into their own worlds?
So the one thing that I really started to notice after one of our Bad Bloods was I want to say it was 2019, the year we introduced the Scientist. The roaming drops, or the roaming objective, the roaming person on the field as an objective. I know we really kind of, Mark kind of pushed that one onto us, and then he kind of took it as well, and then did it himself.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just kind of stumbled all over the place. I see it all the time now.
You're talking about
there's all sorts. Yeah, you get your Nikolai missions, or you get like. Well, for us, it's the Scientist, or like you can do a political. There's all sorts of options you can do depending on what kind of op you're running. But like having that kind of extraction, having that kind of objective, just kind of pop up out of nowhere, and suddenly you go, "Oh, I gotta shift all my gears of focus now because this is more important than what I was working on."
Okay, so let's come back to that in two different ways, because that reminds me of something we talked about earlier. Let's talk about a secondary external mission kind of thing, right? We talked about Bad Blood being a timed scavenger hunt. You've only got so much time to fulfill your objectives. Well, you're running low on time, and hey, you hear over the radio, guess what? New mission. What are you guys, Mord, Nesbitt, and Rush, what are you going to do? Say you've got a stamp that you're on it, but you can't push through. Ginger Bear's being an absolute jerk. You can't get through, right? But you've heard that this HVT mission is closer. Are you going to abandon your stamp and go after the HVT, or are you going to push?
I'm going to do what my CO tells me to do. First and
God darn right.
Good answer.
All right.
And I'll tell you,
Doc's
my
leading
CO
us
has
to
never
victory.
gone.
Yep.
My CO has never gone for a special objective.
Really?
Not while I've been with him. I've been 3 years. I've never gone to a special objective.
All right. So some of the CEOs just ignore it. That's it. That's interesting. All right.
It's like, okay, new objective. Everybody's got something, hot to trot. They're going to probably go for it. Why don't we just stay our course? And maybe
that's one of the
less distractions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That can be as like, I like the idea of like being able to ignore some of those missions, but I feel like if we were to offer more of them on the field, like we say,
Yes.
we offer 3 random drop missions. Call one a high value target mission. You got to take someone out. Someone's got to die. You get another one. You get the extract mission. Pull the Scientist out, and then you could do like we used to do. Have that big mission at the end of the day where you got to fight your way out. You got to get out of here. Tribal just decided to gather all the clans, and now you're screwed.
I always like that too.
That was peak.
I love that.
Yeah, I do like the idea of Tribal kind of flipping the script and boxing everybody in and really
You're
being the
stuck,
aggressor
sucker.
as opposed to the annoyance. I do like that.
I mean, especially with where I'm planning on sitting and where Ginger Bear's planning on sitting this year. The way that we can make some maneuvers happen with the amount of bodies we've got, be very scared of what Tribal has coming for you this year. And I'm not spoiling shit, but be warned, There are very many surprises that my group is bringing for you guys. We are pulling out as many stops as we can for you. Be aware that this is going to be one of the best Bad Bloods we've had in history.
Now,
I cannot wait.
yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm gonna be.
This is going to be one of our best years by far.
So,
Oh.
one thing we talked about early was we're comparing. Well, I was comparing my experience with how I write Vietnam MilSim, being mission based, and all the missions are kind of ready to go, and they get disseminated in field throughout a 48-hour period, right? As opposed to Bad Blood, where everybody knows your objectives before you even step foot on the field. You know what you're going to do, you know where you have to be kind of at all times, right? As opposed to missions coming down as missions need to come down. Do you think Bad Blood benefits? Because these guys already answered. This is I'm talking straight to Buck. Do you feel Bad Blood benefits or hurts itself by being, I guess, rigid? Other than we're talking about these random HVT style missions, which we have started to incorporate. Do you feel it's a little too rigid, needs to be loosened up, or do you like
No.
that it's I know what I need to do? The areas are going to
I-
change every year, but I still know
I don't think that the game is rigid, period. I think the idea of the scavenger hunt is such a loose enough thing that it allows the players to not only focus on an objective, but decide individually if they want to continue doing something. Because if they talk to their embed, or they talk to their CO, and they say, hey, I don't feel like I'm covering any ground here, I feel like I want to go work on something else. You go talk to your CO and say, hey, I don't think we're moving. Can you send me on something else? He'll go, sure, go do something else. Go do XYZ. Or you and your squad get completely separated. You have no idea where command is. You have no radio comms. It's a dead zone, but you know there's a sample nearby. You can just rush it. You have so many different options, and there are so many different ways to play this game, and there are so many different people coming every single year that there's never going to be a consistent, or not a consistent, a repetitive fight. You're never going to have the same fight twice. You can't. Even at Fort War, where everything feels exactly the same as it did the year before, it's never the same because people are choosing different approaches from the times they did last year. They're trying to find different places where they've hidden the stashes, and they don't know what you're trying to fight them for.
Right. That's
So
interesting because Headkill might have experienced the same thing I have because we've been doing Bad Blood for a long time. Headkill's been doing it longer than I have. And I've heard from a handful of guys who have stopped coming to Bad Blood because they felt the scenario and the gameplay was a little too stuck in itself. And I've been trying to find ways to kind of keep it from feeling stuck. But I've always been in agreement with you, Buck. I think the game is still unique every year, even though it's kind of the same rule set. The game,
even though it is the same rule set, and yeah, even though those players can have that feeling of repetitiveness, I can understand that because I've also had a couple of my guys that were like, "Listen, I gassed myself out of Bad Blood. I'm going to skip a couple of years." And that's fine. I tell them, by all means, not everybody can do this like me or like Ian or like Headkill every single year. Some guys are meant to do this game every single year. Sometimes it's just a nice thing to get out and go with your friends. It's a nice event to hit. Sometimes you want to come back, sometimes you don't. It depends on the year and what the things are going on. But if you guys are actually like listening into these podcasts, listening or reading the rule sets, reading the posts that we're putting out, you'll know that we're trying to make it as fresh as possible by adding things like these random events, like these random things that happen every year, because it's never going to be the same because we learn, we adapt, we change every year.
My thought about the VIP thing real quick is if we had, let's say, 2 VIPs announced at the same time, one at, let's say, the top of the ravine and one at, say, Pines, and they both had to reach the airfield, and you only got points for the first VIP to reach the airfield. That gives you 4 teams looking for 2 VIPs, getting them to 1 exfil. Just a variety there, if you're looking to.
Oh, it's definitely interesting. Yeah. I like that actually. That could be a lot of fun. I brainstormed that the next couple of days. One suggestion I've gotten in the past from a former Bad Blood player who no longer comes was he always felt that he didn't like how the story kind of resets every year. And he was always like, well, how can we kind of have the outcome of the previous year affect the next year? One, do you guys feel it's even necessary? And two, if you feel it is necessary, would you want to do that?
That's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
How would you evolve it?
What
The
do you
only
mean?
thing I could think of is give them 2 spawns next to each other to start with.
See,
So
with us
yeah.
already changing the way that the spawn system works and us
Yeah.
reworking that's kind of fixed that loophole for like, oh, the winners of the year get the best pick of the spawn route. Like,
Right.
they can get pushed out, bro.
Yeah, that was kind of the only. You're right. That was kind of the only way I saw of addressing the request was okay. Previous year's winner gets to basically pick everybody's initial spawn points, but at the same time, you're right that since the game is constantly moving, and the way the spawns are remapped out now with only the 3 factions, you're going to be rushing so fast right from the gate.
Yeah.
Does your initial respawn even really matter at
It
this
does.
point?
Yeah.
I think it does. I think the spawn locations, if you were to be able to manipulate them and move them on the initial start, can definitely affect the early game flow.
Especially if you let the previous year's winner pick. Either give them 1 or let them even take an extra if they'd like it, but let them pick their spawn.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say give them an extra spawn because they're with the rules. We're keeping it at
Spreads out.
one spawn point at a time.
Right.
So that kind of counteracts that.
But
I would like the idea of just giving them like the ability to pick the spawn for the next year, but I can also see how some of the players would dislike that as well.
right,
Because that's not enough.
we're trying to solve the problem, right? We're trying to brainstorm the problem out, but it still
Give
leaves
them
the
a 5-minute
question:
head start.
do we even need to? Is it even necessary for the structure of the game? Like,
I don't think it really is.
I mean, if you want to go about it in that kind of way, we could bring out like a trophy system of some kind. Because at the end of the day, this is a tournament.
I like trophies.
And if we allow a CO to like take home a trophy for the year, like that's a big deal.
Oh,
Like that's a really big deal for a team.
The
so
bad
we're talking
blood
like
cup.
no, even
Blood Cup.
better. Even better. Why don't we kick it old school and do a WWE title belt?
Yeah,
And I mean, if you,
Bad blood title belt.
okay,
we could even make it even more fun with
and
that
then
and
see if they can
allow.
wear it.
We could also allow the COs at the start of the event before everybody like starts going off. We can allow him to do it off. See if he keeps it or see if he loses it and it goes up. Because if he gets to wear that for the full day, that's just kind of like a hey, one more slap in the face. Like I'm that much better than you.
Yeah, right.
And it gives the other team a little bit of a drive to like, let's go track down that motherfucker. Let's go get that belt off him.
now we're
And if
getting
you can bring that belt back to Ian or back to whoever or wherever we decide,
That's a stamp.
you get another point. You get another point for your team, and that might put you over the lead to get that. Because like the stamps are great, but we add one more little extra for the winning team. 1 extra point means they can go a little bit further, and that can make a difference for some people.
okay. We're getting somewhere here. We're getting somewhere. I like that. I kind of like the idea of just a championship belt. The CO can choose to wear it all day or not, and then it gets passed on
Do we
to
have
the
to?
to the new
Or-
CEO at the end of the game.
Yep.
You could go this route as well. You could go with like a really nice training sword that gets like really super detailed and looks really nice. Maybe it's gold, something like
A
that.
big
Or maybe someone
rubber
gets a
sword.
or a golden gun. Bring back a 007 vibe. Get out a golden gun.
I 100% I 100% like the idea of the engraving the team and the year on the belt. So it's
I do like that as well.
Oh!
at that point, it's not just about the belt; it's about what the belt represents.
Yes,
It's about the
it's
memory.
history.
Todsky, if you're still out there, find me a belt.
Kent,
Come on.
Kent, that's great.
I got
Thorpe.
you right here in Cohoes. Right here in Cohoes, we got a company that does them.
Kent Thorpe's the man.
Todsky's a huge wrestling
Great
fan. Like I'm
idea.
sure a lot of you guys are, but he's probably actually watching wrestling right now and ignoring me, which is fine. But I'm liking this. I like this a lot because yes, it's a fun game. Yes, it's a charity event. We're out there to raise funds and to have a good time. But at the same time, why not give you guys a reason to be out there? Okay. Get on it. I need an engravable wrestling style blank belt. Figure something out. We'll talk about this. So,
And I mean, we've already got the logo, bro. We've had the logo for years. I
Yeah.
mean, it's right behind us right now.
I
Perfect centerpiece
want to
of the belt.
give, other
big
than
drop.
just completing your objectives and saying, "Hey, we won. We're the greatest this year." I want something for you guys to fight for, and
That's it.
like you guys said at the very beginning of the stream was, towards the end of the day, you guys are running on fumes. You're just trying to push those last bit of objectives. That last objective is winning to get that belt.
Get that belt.
And that's one of the
Well
reasons
done.
why I like
Good
the
song.
idea. I like the idea of bringing back our fight the tribal, last man standing gets another point kind of thing. Of like once everybody's getting pushed up into it, like tribal just starts pushing. Or we say, hey, they're call out on the radio, say, hey, there is an objective at Fort Ward. Show up.
While I'm all for that idea, my brief stint as Where's Waldo, I don't know if you remember that, Buck.
I do.
What?
That was painful.
I remember
man.
that.
That hurt. So I'm all for the the last man standing. Let's see who can survive it. But I was the last man standing, and that hurt.
That's kind of dead blood.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, you got a point there.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of tribals like keeping you from exfilling. Like getting off the field.
The tribal.
I think that's where we need to start setting up like the exfils or like the drop points for like high value targets or VIPs, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Those gotta be at a tribal base. You gotta not only get the person to the objective, but you need to fight to get them out.
Yeah, it's less finding them randomly in the field and then exfilling them. It's more rescuing them and
Yeah, like Half-Life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
Like we could go about it like these guys have briefcases of like antiviruses or whatever.
They have
It's
the
like that. We can
once you get them
scientist,
to the evacuation
yeah.
point, you get your stamp.
Coolers filled with stuff. Things like that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's got candy. Maybe it's got sweets.
Oh,
maybe it's got Gatorades.
Another.
We're redesigning the wheel here. We got plenty of ways that we can go about this. We got a couple weeks still.
Yeah.
Also, something else I thought I'd throw out really quickly. Winner gets a clue to where a stamp is hidden for the next year. Gets first stamp clue.
I like that.
That's
So
great.
not only does having some kind of physical proof that you are the best, you now
But you get the advantage.
But you have the
You
advantage.
actually
for the
have a
next
real
year.
advantage. Yep.
I like
Not
that. You have
just a
tactical,
fun
you have
point,
tactical
yeah.
advantage on top of the bragging rights. I like that.
That's great.
There, handled.
Very good, very good.
And that's
Guys,
why
this is
I'm
a
kept
good
around.
Buck, I see the murder yellow tape behind you in the doorway. What's going on in the crime scene there?
Currently, the background behind me is the construction site of my ambulance station because we are currently in the process of renovating.
Gotcha. I didn't know if anybody got murdered or something.
No, it's literally just rocks.
All right. All right.
All right,
How
my friends,
anticlimactic.
this is good. This is very good stuff. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
to recap, Bad Blood is the best game out there.
Always is, always will be.
No other reasons for anything else unless you want to push yourself beyond your physical limits. Then try MSW, and that's
Say
fine.
it with your chest.
Yeah.
I'm too old.
Right. So
My knees hurt. My back
That's a
hurts.
young kids game
this has
nowadays.
been a lot of fun. We've had a good time. Next week, because we are every week until the week after Bad Blood. We have one stream after Bad Blood. Next week, which I want to stop now because us trying to solve the problem. Next week, we're just going to do a viewer Q&A. We're going to have the ticker running, showing all the questions that people have. Please be nice. Don't get us censored.
Guys, just when we post this link up, we're gonna do it the day of and the day before. Please, please, please share this to your friends. Anybody that you know is going to this event, share it to all your teammates, all your friends. Make sure
Anybody-
everybody is able to ask their questions
Oh, yeah.
now, because it's either now or you're going to have to be running around like a chicken with your head cut off trying to find one of us on game day, and we're
And
all
there's
going to
not
be
enough.
looking at you with bug eyes asking, why didn't you ask this before?
There are no dumb questions because
Ever.
there's no dumb questions ever because people have been coming to this game for 20 years. People have been coming to this game for the very first time this year. Ask your questions. We will answer them. No problem. Unless you're talking about camo, because all the
and-
camos have been described in the player packet that you've already read.
Point blank. Even with
So,
pictures.
yeah, we're good. Yeah. So next week, viewer Q&A. Come armed with your best questions and see if you can stump us. It'll be a lot of fun.
Mm.
So that being said, I'm Ian. These are my friends, and this has been Bad Blood.
Good night, y'all.